We will hear briefly from Mr. Kisto, whom we are very proud to have in our midst this evening. Mr. Kisto.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for such a long and eloquent and complete introduction. You reduced my time to speak, but nevertheless, it's okay. Your Excellency, Ambassador Rodney Charles, representative to Permanent Mission of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago to the United Nations. Your Excellency, Ambassador Dr. Neil Parson, Trinidad and Tobago Ambassador to the United States of America, Mexico, and the Organization of American States. Our General Counsel, Dr. Anna Ramnaran, representative of Trinidad and Tobago to Miami. Other dignitaries, our host, Mr. Mohar Singh, other specially invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, and more importantly, friends all, as you are here from Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana. Thank you for having us here this evening. My job is short and simple, really to tell you what the Inter-American Development Bank is about, and particularly some of the things we're doing in Trinidad with the new government and things we've started to do in Guyana as well. The Inter-American Development Bank is a multilateral lending bank based in Washington, D.C., which lends for national development projects for countries from Mexico all the way down to Argentina and including the Caribbean countries. The bank is divided basically into three arms, which is the bank itself, which lends directly to countries for national development projects. We have what is also called a multilateral investment fund, which is the grant part of the bank. Most of the lending that we do to governments for projects, we give what is a grant funding. We fund consultants and professionals to help the government with the capacity to be able to carry out projects successfully. And for the businessmen here, the bank has founded what is called the Inter-American Investment Corporation, which is its private sector lending arm. The IIC has been growing slowly but surely, has survived the recent financial crisis, and is positioning itself to engage more with the Caribbean region. Actually, its growth in the Caribbean region in the last year has increased 15%, I think, if I have the figure right. And we are continuing to push more and more for the IIC to engage with the private sector as a cheap form of lending and innovative lending to the region. The IDB has been working very closely with the new government of Trinidad and Tobago, so much so that the president of the Inter-American Development Bank made his first significant visit to Trinidad and Tobago on the 8th and 9th of February. While we were there, we signed a $300 million loan agreement for the rehabilitation and refurbishment of roads and bridges, $35 million with the Ministry of Energy for sustainable energy projects, $30 million for climate change strategy, and $35 million for squatter regularization, where the government is giving tenure to the landowners as well as creating the necessary social and physical infrastructure to create a decent community and living environment. Significant, most of Latin America and the Caribbean has been moving away from lending from the World Bank and the IMF and moving towards the Inter-American Development Bank. So much so, the bank last year, the governors of the bank, which comprises all of the finance ministers of Latin America and the Caribbean region, argued for and consented to an increase in the capital of the bank. Whereas the bank had a capital stock of $100 billion US, it has now been agreed to increase that by 70 billion. So we'll now be a $170 billion bank, having the capacity to deal more with development and growth in the region. Before coming, while chatting here, I realized that there's lots of interest in regional infrastructure projects, in regional capital market projects. Well, the good news I have to bring you, the bank under its new capital projects is dedicating 15% of its lending capacity strictly to funding regional integration projects in the areas of capital markets and particularly infrastructure. So briefly, I want to thank you all for the opportunity to come here this afternoon to share with you. I look forward to the opportunity to serve you all through policies and programs of the IDB and the future development of our countries. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Kisto.